My name is Jake and welcome to this commentary about Bionic Commando, the 3D platformer slash third-person shooter from 2009. Now originally I wanted to do a review after my playthrough and summary of this game in the last few weeks, but I just couldn't find the right way to do it and instead decided to do this commentary. Now Bionic Commando actually really surprised me. I wasn't expecting anything after hearing nothing about it in the last few years. Even on its release, I wasn't really aware of the game itself. The only reason I knew about Bionic Commando was because of the Rearmed remake that was released a year earlier. And the only reason I knew about the Rearmed remake was because it is censored here in Germany. I just wasn't interested in the game or the franchise. And as it seems, I wasn't the only one, because the game itself sold very poorly. In the US it sold 27,000 units in its first month, and just to compare this, Terminator Salvation, released on the same day, sold 40,000 units, while apparently being a much worse game than Bionic Commando. But it also doesn't seem like a good decision to release titles in such an old franchise. The first Bionic Commando game was released on the NES in 1988, and there haven't been many titles since then. Although the remake, Bionic Commando Rearmed, was meant as a restarting point for the franchise, as the Bionic Commando from 2009 follows the story of the Rearmed version, not of the original. But still, a digital-only release such as Rearmed, I don't think it can spark enough interest, and apparently it didn't spark enough interest for a major retail sequel just a year later. Now, of course, this is all based on my own conclusion that I came to after reading through a few articles and overall getting interested in the franchise. I also did look at some pre-release videos here on YouTube, some gameplay videos and trailers. Some of them feature a much more realistic, in quotation marks, color palette than the released version, using a lot more brown colors overall. A few videos also show a few gameplay scenes that take place in different levels than the released versions. However, apart from these few changes, the overall gameplay seems to be very similar throughout the development and apparently hasn't changed much in the final release. So, and as a sort of conclusion to all this and to end this commentary, I can personally recommend this game. Bionic Commando from 2009 is a solid third-person shooter slash 3D platformer and provides a solid fun experience for a few hours. The story feels very old school-like, and thankfully the game itself isn't too serious. The multiplayer is also really cool. It uses the single-player elements from the gameplay single-player elements with the Bionic Arm and mixes it with an old arena-style shooter. So it provides a very old-school experience while mixing it with some new elements. However, I should note that the PC servers are offline, and the only way to play this on the PC is over a virtual private network software like Hamachi or Tangle. So overall, it's not like a must-buy, but for the current price that you will most likely find this around, I think it's quite enjoyable, and as I said, gets my recommendation. So this was my commentary about Bionic Commando, the 2009 3D platformer slash third-person shooter. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll see you in another video.